Curious George and the baseball game. Alright, Amy, you're up. This is good, George. We have a good little monkey and always very curious. Today, George and the man in the yellow hat were going to the ballpark to watch the baseball game. George couldn't wait to see what he would be like. At the baseball stadium, the man with the yellow hat introduced George to his friend, the head coach of the Middleville Miners. He had arranged for George to watch the game from the dugout. What a treat! George got Miner's cap to wear. Then he sat on the bench with the players. He felt like he was part of the team. The players cheered at Miner's home run. George cheered too. The players groaned at the Miners' strikeout. George groaned too. Then George noticed one of the Miners' coaches making funny motions with his hand. He touched his cap. He pinched his nose. He dusted his shoulders. Thought George. Maybe this is wonder why the cheer his team. So George made some soft motions too. He tugged at his ear. He rubbed his tummy. He scratched his chin. Just then, Miner's player got tagged out of the second base. Player pointed to George. The monkey said, "It's distracting me. What is this funny signs?" Oops. The coach had been giving directions to the baseball runner. George's hand signals were taking his mind off the play. Poor George. He only had been trying to be part of the team. Instead, Miners had lost his chance to score. George watched and rested the game from the stadium seat, or at least tried to watch the game. There was so much going on around him. There was food for sale. There was shouting fans. There was a woman holding a big camera. The woman pointed her camera at some fans, and look, those fans waved out from the huge screen of the ballpark pen scoreboard. George had never seen a TV and was curious what it was like to see himself on the big screen. He learned the answer. It was exciting. George liked seeing himself on the screen. "Hey you," shouted the cameraman. "Cut that out." Oh, George had gotten a little carried away. He ran off, and the cameraman hot on his heels. In the busy stadium breezeway, George hid behind a popcorn cart and waited for the cameraman to pass by. Just then, George heard a noise behind him. It was quite a little noise and a sniff. He could have made that noise, George wondered. George turned there behind the cart with a little boy crying. George wanted to help. He kept out of his hiding place and went over to the boy. "Ah, there you are," shouted the cameraman, spotting George. The cameraman noticed that the tear-eyed boy. She seemed to forget that it was mad at George. "I'm lost," the boy said. "I can't find my dad." If only there were a way to tell the boy's dad where he was. But there he was. The camera woman aimed the lens at the little boy, and there he was on the big screen for everyone to see, including his dad. "Is it a child or your monkey?" Within minutes, the boy and his father were told again, and the man with the yellow hat came to find George. "I can't thank you enough," the boy's father said to the cameraman. The camera woman shrugged. "Don't thank me," he said. She patted George on the back. "It was a little fellow who found your son." George was the star of the day.